I still remember the exact words that shattered my heart. "You're not invited to the wedding, Mom." My daughter Lily said it with trembling lips but steady eyes. For a moment I thought she was joking. After all, no mother ever imagines being banned from her own child's happiest day. But she wasn't joking. It was a sunny afternoon just weeks before her wedding. I had been helping her plan everything, from the flowers to the menu, from the guests to the gown fittings. She used to call me every day. We laughed, dreamed, and sometimes argued, but it was all normal, or so I thought. That day she asked me to meet her at a cafe near her office. I noticed how nervous she was. Her hands kept shaking, her eyes avoided mine. Then she said it. "Mom, I think it's better if you and Dad don't come to the wedding." I froze. "What are you saying, sweetheart? Is this some kind of joke?" Her voice broke slightly. "It's not a joke. Josh's parents think it would be better this way. They don't want any family drama." "Family drama? We were her parents, not strangers." I tried to stay calm. "Lily, we've loved you, raised you, given you everything. Why would you say something like this?" She just whispered, "Please understand, Mom, it's complicated." I left the cafe with tears streaming down my face. My husband, Mark, was waiting in the car. When I told him what happened, he didn't say a word, just started the engine and drove home in silence. That night, neither of us spoke. We just sat across from each other, broken, confused, and hurt. I replayed every memory, her first steps, her laughter, the way she used to run into my arms after school. How did that little girl turn into someone who could cut us out of her life? The next morning, Mark said quietly, "If we're not wanted, then we won't go." And that's exactly what we did. We canceled everything, the reception dinner we had planned, the hotel rooms for relatives, even the gift we had ordered. It felt like we had lost our daughter, while she was still alive. But deep down, I knew there was more to this story. Something wasn't right. And soon, I would find out the shocking truth behind her decision. And it would change everything. The next few days were a blur. The house felt quieter than ever. Every time my phone buzzed, I hoped it would be Lily. Maybe she had changed her mind. Maybe she realized what she'd done. But she never called. Mark buried himself in work, pretending it didn't affect him, but I knew better. He'd sit in the living room late at night, staring at her old photographs. Once, I caught him whispering, "What did we do wrong?" I had no answer. A week later, I decided to call Josh, Lily's fiancé. He had always been polite, respectful, and seemed to genuinely care for her. I thought maybe he could explain what was going on. But when he answered, his tone was cold. "Mrs. Walker, I think it's best if you don't interfere." Lily made her decision. "We just want peace." Peace. The word hit me like a slap. "What kind of peace keeps a mother away from her daughter's wedding?" I asked. He paused for a second, then said, "Please don't make this harder. Goodbye." The line went dead. I sat there staring at the phone, shaking with anger and confusion. Something wasn't right. This wasn't my Lily speaking. This was someone else's voice coming through her. The next day, Mark and I went for a walk by the lake. He finally spoke. "Maybe we should just accept it, Mary. She's grown up. Maybe this is who she is now." I shook my head. "No, I know my daughter. Someone is manipulating her. I can feel it." He sighed. "And what do you plan to do?" "I'm going to the wedding." He looked at me in shock. Even after she said, "Yes," I cut him off. "I need to see her face. I need to hear the truth from her, not from anyone else." 2 days before the wedding, I drove to the venue. I didn't tell Mark. I knew he wouldn't agree. When I got there, I stayed hidden, just watching from a distance. The place was beautiful. White roses, golden lights, and laughter everywhere. But my heart broke when I saw Lily standing there in her wedding dress, smiling nervously. Then I noticed something else. Her eyes kept darting toward a man in a dark suit standing near the back. He wasn't a guest. He looked tense, watchful. When Lily caught sight of me, her face turned pale. She excused herself from her bridesmaids and walked quickly toward me. "Mom, what are you doing here?" She whispered harshly, looking around. "I needed to see you," I said softly. "Tell me what's happening, Lily. This isn't you." She looked like she wanted to cry, but then she shook her head. "Mom, please go before he sees you. You're not safe here." "Before he sees me?" I froze. "Who, Lily? Who are you talking about?" But before she could answer, that same man in the dark suit started walking toward us. The man's eyes locked on us instantly. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a hard expression that made my stomach twist. He moved fast, his hand slightly raised as if signaling Lily to step away from me. "Lily," he said sharply, "the guests are looking for you. You shouldn't be here." Lily froze, her voice trembling. I was just talking to my mom for a second." His cold gaze turned to me. "Mrs. Walker, this is a private event. You weren't invited for a reason. Please leave." There was something about his tone, not just authority but threat. I took a small step forward. "And who are you?" He smiled faintly. "I'm security. I'm here to make sure everything runs smoothly." But his eyes told a different story. There was no warmth, no professionalism, just control. Lily looked terrified. "Mom, please go," she whispered. "You don't understand." I wanted to scream, to shake her and ask what she meant, but I could see the fear in her eyes. She wasn't pushing me away because she wanted to. She was being forced to. The man's voice hardened. "Mrs. Walker, leave." I glared at him, then turned to Lily. "I'm not going anywhere until you tell me the truth." "Why aren't we invited, Lily? What is he hiding from us?" "Mom, please," she whispered, tears welling up. "If you love me, just go now." Before I could say another word, Mark appeared. He had followed me. "Mary!" he called, rushing over. "What's going on?" The man stepped in front of us, blocking the way. "Sir, you both need to leave now. Don't make a scene." Mark's face turned red with anger. "Who do you think you are? This is my daughter's wedding." People had started to look. Guests whispered, some even taking out their phones. Lily looked like she was about to collapse. Then, from behind us, Josh appeared, the groom. "What's going on here?" he demanded. I turned to him. "You tell me, Josh. Why does my daughter look like she's being threatened?" Josh looked at the man, then back at us, his expression unreadable. "Please, let's not do this now." "You're ruining everything." Mark clenched his fists. "Our daughter's scared and you're worried about your party?" Josh took Lily's arm gently. "Come on, babe. Let's go inside." She looked back at me, her lips trembling. "Mom, please, trust me. Just go home." And then she was gone, pulled away by Josh and the strange man. Mark put his arm around me, guiding me away. "Let's leave, Mary. This isn't right." But as we reached the car, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Through the reflection of the venue's glass doors, the man in the dark suit wasn't watching the crowd. He was watching us drive away, and he had a phone pressed to his ear. Something deep inside told me this wasn't about a wedding at all. It was about control, and our daughter was in danger. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lily's terrified face and that man's cold stare. Something was deeply wrong. Mark tried to reassure me. Maybe we overreacted. Maybe he really was security. But I shook my head. "No, Mark, that wasn't security. That was intimidation." I could still hear Lily's words echoing in my mind. "Mom, please go before he sees you. You're not safe here." I had raised that girl. I knew fear when I saw it. The next morning, I called Lily's best friend, Amanda. She had always been like a second daughter to us. If anyone knew what was going on, it would be her. When Amanda picked up, she hesitated before speaking. "Mrs. Walker, I was hoping you'd call." My heart skipped. "Do you know something about Lily?" Amanda sighed. "She's been different lately, distant. She stopped coming to work last week and told me not to ask questions. But I overheard something when I went to her apartment to drop off a gift." "What did you hear?" I asked, gripping the phone tighter. Amanda hesitated. A man was yelling at her. I couldn't hear everything, but he said something like, "You belong to me now. Don't make me prove it." My blood ran cold. "Did you see who it was?" I whispered. "No, but he had a deep voice, older." I thought it was Josh at first, but it didn't sound like him. I thanked Amanda and hung up, my heart pounding. I turned to Mark, who had been listening. "She's in trouble, Mark. Someone's controlling her." He rubbed his face, exhausted. "And what do you expect us to do? Go barging into her life again?" "Yes," I said firmly, "because if we don't, we might lose her forever." Mark sighed. "Fine, but we need to be careful. Whoever that man was, he's watching us too." We decided to visit Lily's apartment the next day. When we arrived, the building felt empty. Her mailbox overflowed with unopened letters. We knocked several times, no answer. I felt panic rising. "Mark, something's wrong." He forced the door open with his shoulder, and what we saw inside made my knees go weak. The living room was a mess, clothes scattered, broken glass on the floor, and a chair tipped over. On the table lay Lily's phone, shattered, and there was something else, a small note taped to the fridge. It read, "Don't look for me. I'll be fine. Please trust me. It's safer this way." I love you both, Lily. My heart broke as I read it aloud. Mark whispered, "This isn't her handwriting." I looked closer. He was right. The letters were uneven, almost forced. I turned toward the window and noticed something across the street. A black car was parked, engine running, and through the tinted glass someone was watching us. Mark noticed the car the same moment I did. "Mary," he whispered, "don't move too fast. Just close the curtains." I did as he said, my hands trembling. When I peeked again, the car was gone, as if it had vanished into thin air. "Mark," I whispered, "someone's following us." He nodded grimly. "And I think it's the same man from the wedding." My stomach twisted. We both knew we had stumbled into something dangerous, something much bigger than a family misunderstanding. We spent the next few hours searching Lily's apartment for any clue. In one of the drawers, I found a receipt from a pawn shop downtown, dated 2 days ago. "Maybe she sold something," I said, clutching it. "Or maybe she left a message for us there." Mark frowned but nodded. "Let's go." The pawn shop was in a quiet, rundown part of town. When we walked in, the old man behind the counter looked up and gave us a cautious glance. "Can I help you?" he asked. I handed him the receipt. "Our daughter Lily Walker was here a couple of days ago. Do you remember her?" He squinted, then slowly nodded. "Pretty girl." Seemed nervous. Said she needed cash fast. "What did she pawn?" I asked. He reached under the counter and brought out a small jewelry box. Inside was a delicate gold bracelet, one I recognized immediately. It was mine, a family heirloom I'd given her on her 18th birthday. "Why would she sell this?" I whispered. The old man looked at me carefully. "She didn't sell it. She told me to hold it for someone. Said they'd come looking for it. She gave me this too." He handed me a small folded note. My heart raced as I opened it. It read, "Mom, if you're reading this, I'm okay. But you were right. They're not who they say they are. Don't trust Josh. Don't go to the police. They're watching everything. I'll find a way to contact you when it's safe. I love you, Lily." My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the note. Mark read it over my shoulder, his face turning pale. "She's in trouble, and she knows we can't trust anyone." The shopkeeper leaned forward slightly. "Ma'am, she told me if you ever showed up, to tell you something else. Look under the rose. Does that mean anything to you?" "Under the rose," I murmured. My mind raced. Then it hit me. Mark, the painting, the one in her old bedroom at home. The one with the roses. He looked at me. "You think she hid something behind it?" I nodded. "We need to go now." As we hurried out of the pawn shop, I glanced across the street and froze. The same black car was parked there again, engine idling. But this time, the man from the wedding was standing outside it, watching us, a faint smile on his face, like he already knew where we were going next. By the time we reached home, the sun had set, and the house was wrapped in eerie silence. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had followed us. Mark parked the car around the back just in case, and double-checked that the doors were locked. I hurried upstairs to Lily's old room. The painting of red and white roses still hung above her bed, the one she'd loved since she was a child. I took it down carefully and ran my fingers along the back of the frame. Nothing. Mark stepped beside me. "Maybe it's just a metaphor, Mary. Maybe she didn't mean an actual rose." I shook my head. "No, Lily always used riddles when she wanted to hide something." Then I noticed it, a tiny slit in the canvas, barely visible. My heart pounded as I reached in and pulled out a small flash, drive wrapped in tissue paper. "This is it," I whispered. Mark looked uneasy. "Whatever's on that, people are willing to scare us for it." "Maybe we shouldn't plug it in here." But I couldn't wait. I grabbed my laptop, closed the curtains, and inserted the drive. After a few seconds, a folder appeared on the screen. Lily's file. Inside were dozens of photos, documents, and video clips. Most of them looked like business contracts and financial records. But as I clicked through them, one folder stood out. Evidence. The first video began to play, and what we saw made my blood run cold. Josh, Lily's fiancé, was sitting in a dark room, talking to the same man from the wedding. Their conversation was muffled, but clear enough to understand. "Josh, she doesn't know anything yet. I'll make sure she signs the papers after the wedding." The man, "Good. Once the inheritance transfers, we'll handle the rest." "Inheritance? Papers?" I looked at Mark, my voice trembling. "They're after her money." He nodded grimly. "And they're using her to get it." The next file was even worse, a scanned document showing Lily's signature on a legal transfer of property and funds. But it wasn't her real signature. It was forged. Tears blurred my vision. They tricked her. They planned all of this. Mark clenched his fists. We need to go to the police. I shook my head immediately. No, Lily said not to. She said they're watching everything. What if the police are part of it? Before we could decide, the power suddenly cut out. The laptop screen went black. I froze. Mark? He grabbed a flashlight and moved toward the window. Stay behind me. The faint sound of footsteps echoed outside. Slow, deliberate. Then, through the darkness, a beam of light flashed across our front porch. Someone was out there, watching, waiting. Mark whispered, They know we found the drive. And just then, the flashlight in his hand flickered and died. In the silence that followed, a deep, unfamiliar voice called from outside, calm, confident, and chilling. Mrs. Walker, we need to talk. The voice outside was deep and composed, carrying a quiet menace that made my skin crawl. Mark motioned for me to stay back while he slowly moved toward the door. My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear anything else. Who's there? Mark demanded, his voice steady but cautious. There was a pause. Then the man replied, Let's not make this harder than it needs to be. You have something that doesn't belong to you. The flash drive. Mark gripped the handle of the door tightly. You need to leave before I call the police. The man chuckled softly. We both know that won't help. You've already seen what's on that drive, haven't you? My breath caught in my throat. He knew. Mark turned to me, whispering, Go upstairs. Hide the drive, now. I hesitated for a second, but the determination in his eyes pushed me to move. I slipped up the stairs as quietly as I could, clutching the flash drive against my chest. My hands were shaking. Every step I took creaked under my feet, and I prayed they wouldn't hear me. From downstairs, the front door rattled violently. Mark! I cried out. The door crashed open, the sound echoing through the house. Heavy footsteps entered, followed by the sharp metallic click of a gun being cocked. Stay where you are, the man barked. Mark's voice was firm but defiant. You're not taking anything from this house. I could hear the struggle, furniture crashing, glass breaking. My heart raced as I ducked into the small attic, closet, and shoved the flash drive beneath the floorboards. Dust filled my nose, but I didn't dare move or make a sound. Then I heard a single deafening gunshot. Mark! I screamed. The silence that followed was unbearable. My whole body trembled as tears streamed down my face. Footsteps started again, slower this time, deliberate, coming up the stairs. I held my breath. The floorboards creaked closer and closer. Mrs. Walker? The man's voice drawled. You don't want to make this worse for yourself. Give me what she left and I'll let you live. My mind flashed back to Lily, her laughter, her love, her warmth. Then to Mark, the man I might have just lost. Something inside me snapped. I looked around the dark attic until my eyes caught a rusted metal rod leaning against the wall. I grabbed it tightly and pressed myself against the door. As soon as I saw the shadow of the man appear in the doorway, I swung with every ounce of strength I had. The rod struck his shoulder, and he stumbled back, shouting in pain. I didn't stop. I ran past him down the stairs, through the broken front door, and into the cold night air. I didn't even know where I was running. I just knew I had to survive. I had to protect what Lily left behind. Behind me, I heard his voice one last time, echoing through the darkness. You can't hide forever, Mary. We'll find you. I ran until my legs burned, my lungs screaming for air. The cold night wind stung my face, but I didn't stop. Finally, when I reached the main road, I saw the faint glow of headlights, a small car approaching. I waved frantically. The car stopped, and an older woman rolled down her window. Are you all right, dear? You look terrified. Please, I gasped. Call the police. Someone broke into my house. Within minutes, sirens filled the distance. Relief and panic mixed inside me as I fell to my knees. Everything. My daughter's wedding, the phone calls, the threats had led to this horrifying night. When the police arrived, I was taken to the hospital for shock. I kept asking for Mark. Hours later, an officer came in, his expression heavy. Ma'am, we found your husband. He's alive. He's injured but stable. I broke down crying, overwhelmed by both relief and guilt. The next morning, detectives questioned us about the break-in. Mark told them everything. The phone calls, the blackmail, the mysterious flash drive. When the police examined the drive, they found encrypted files containing evidence of illegal offshore accounts and stolen identities. all connected to a criminal ring that Lily had accidentally discovered before her death. Apparently, Lily had stumbled upon something dangerous while managing her company's finances. Fearing for her life, she had hidden the evidence and told Mark about it before her passing. That's why someone wanted it back. Days turned into weeks. With police protection and ongoing investigations, we finally started to feel safe again. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still unfinished. One evening, I sat by Lily's grave. The sun was setting, bathing the world in a soft orange glow. I placed a small white rose beside her name. "You protected us, even after you were gone," I whispered. "But I wish I could have protected you too." As I turned to leave, my phone buzzed. The screen showed an unknown number. No name, no ID, just digits. My heart skipped a beat. I hesitated, then answered. "Hello?" A pause. Then a soft, familiar voice, faint, almost like an echo, whispered, "Mom?" The line went dead. I stood frozen, staring at the screen, unable to breathe. The number vanished from my call log as if it had never existed. Was it just my mind playing tricks on me? A crossed signal? Or something else? Something beyond this world? I'll never know. But what I do know is this. Sometimes the people we love never really leave us. They find ways to guide us, protect us, and warn us when danger lurks near. Life has taught me that love, real love, doesn't end with death. It lingers, it watches, it whispers. And every time my phone rings at night now, a part of me still pauses, waiting, wondering, hoping that maybe, just maybe, my daughter's voice will answer again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And please tell me in the comments, where are you listening from?